Hi there, it's Wendy again. Welcome back to the Heal and Grow podcast, where small thoughts grow into big strengths. Have you ever scrolled through social media and seen people showing off, like bought a house at 20, financially free at 25, or have it all at 30? At first, we might think these stories are just inspiring. But the more you look at them, the more you start to doubt yourself and feel bad, just because you aren't there yet. These perfect standards on social media make us too hard on ourselves. We get so busy looking at other people's big wins that we forget to celebrate our own quiet hard work. You might ignore all your own efforts and feel like you are not good enough just because you haven't done something huge yet. And that is why today, we are going to talk about something that sounds simple, but is so easy to forget: becoming your own biggest fan. Part 1. The encouragement we often forget. Since we were little, many of us were taught to be humble. We learned to look at what we are missing so we can try harder. That is not wrong. We need to be humble to learn, and we need to see our limits to grow. But the problem starts when we confuse being humble with putting ourselves down. We are afraid to give ourselves credit because we worry it means we are arrogant. We are scared to say we worked hard because others might think we are showing off. We are always told to focus on what we haven't achieved yet. But we are rarely taught how to look back at the difficult things we have quietly overcome. Because of this, many people grow up with a terrible belief that they can only be proud of themselves when they are perfect, highly successful, or praised by everyone. But you know what? Being kind to yourself is not the same as being arrogant. Giving yourself credit doesn't mean you think you are better than everyone else. It just means you are fair. You see your hard work, not just your mistakes. You can only truly grow when you are brave enough to see what you need to improve, but also fair enough to celebrate what you have survived. Of course, we all need to learn, change, and adapt to become better every day. But along the way, let's also remember to be proud of ourselves. Be proud of how hard we have tried on this journey. Don't be too hard on yourself for the things you haven't achieved yet. That is exactly what I tell myself every single day. And now, I want to share this with you, the person listening right now. Don't turn your back on yourself when you need your own support the most. Because even if the whole world doubts you, you must be on your own side. Don't wait for the world to recognize you before you start recognizing yourself. Part 2. Don't wait for the world to recognize you. Have you ever noticed this strange truth? It is so easy to give your kindest words to a friend. You cheer them on when they fall down. You remind them of their worth, and you tell them that one mistake does not define their whole life. But when you make a mistake, you become your own worst critic. Just like that, on the hard days when we need support the most, we accidentally forget our own hard-working self. We do this because of a hurtful belief. If we don't shine bright enough, we don't deserve to be proud. We are so used to looking outside for approval, always chasing other people's standards. But ancient Stoic philosophy teaches us something important. What matters is not the applause from the crowd. What really matters is living true to your own values and mind. In other words, your worth should not be put entirely in other people's hands. Also, there is a simple truth we often forget. Friends, family, or partners, no matter how much they love you, will sometimes be busy with their own lives, or one day they might leave. The only person who is with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, from the moment you are born until you close your eyes, is you. So, don't wait for the world to recognize you before you start recognizing yourself. The first person who needs to see your effort, stand by your side, and tell you that you did a great job today is no one else but you. Part 3. Why are you so hard on yourself? We look at other people's pain with kind eyes. but we use a magnifying glass to find every single one of our own mistakes. Giving ourselves credit, it turns out, is the hardest thing in the world. Psychologist Edward Higgins once shared a theory called the self-discrepancy theory. Simply put, inside each of us, there are usually 3 versions of ourselves. First is your current self, the person who is living, trying, making mistakes, and learning every day. Second is your ideal self, the person you want to be, stronger, better, more successful, and calmer. And third is the person you think you must be. You must be successful at a certain age, make a lot of money, please your family, never fail, and always look perfect to society. The problem starts here. Every time you look at your current self and see that you are too far from those other 2 versions, you start to suffer. You feel disappointed, worried, and not good enough. And instead of seeing that you are just in the process of growing, you become your own worst critic. You see your mistakes very clearly, but you forget the days you quietly tried your best. You remember the one time you fell down, but you forget how many times you stood back up. You know what? When I learned about this theory, I realized something. The gap between your current self and your ideal self is not there for you to blame yourself. It just shows us where we are, where we want to go, and what we need to learn to move forward. So don't let your better version become a pressure that makes you feel like you are never good enough. Turn it into a map to help you understand how you need to grow. Becoming your own strongest support. So how can you truly become a strong support for yourself? You just need to remember these 3 things. The first thing is, apply the best friend test. Every time you make a mistake, instead of calling yourself useless, ask yourself, if my best friend made this mistake, how would I comfort them? You would not yell at them, right? You would tell them to stay calm and try again. So why are you being cruel and denying that kindness to yourself? The second thing is, don't turn your back on yourself. Learn to treat yourself fairly. If you do something wrong, fix it. If you are tired, rest. If you are slow, just keep taking small steps. Never let a hard time define your whole worth. Also, don't wait until you reach the top to let yourself be proud. Some days, just waking up, pushing forward, and choosing not to give up, that is already the biggest victory. Be there for yourself in the moments when no one sees your hard work. Remind yourself, you are not perfect yet, but you are improving. You haven't reached the finish line, but you are still walking. You might have fallen down, but your legs are still strong enough to stand back up. As we grow older, we deeply realize the strongest support is not out there in the world, but it is the calm voice deep inside you. A voice forgiving enough not to push you down further, warm enough to lift you up, and brave enough to say, I am still here, and I will never abandon myself. The last thing is, celebrate small wins. Personally, I used to be stuck in the thought that only huge milestones are worth celebrating. But the more I experience, the more I realize this truth. Life does not move forward by giant leaps, but by tiny efforts added up every day. Every time you take a small action to stop putting things off, every time you push through laziness to move one step closer to your goal, you have the right to be proud of yourself. Bravely getting out of bed on a very tiring morning, daring to say no to an unfair request, or simply stopping the negative voice in your head today. These are all priceless wins. Don't wait until you stand on the top of success to allow yourself to smile. Clap for yourself even when you just step over a small puddle. Because after all, a successful and complete life is actually built from countless small days like that. Today you are proud and happy, tomorrow you are happy, this week you are happy. Just patiently collect them like that, and those small days will come together to make a happy, bright, and proud life. Part 5. The Invincible Summer Within You. Today, we sit here to remind each other of something simple but easily forgotten. Be your own best friend. Sometimes we get so busy chasing the standards out there that we forget something. Just bravely waking up every morning, quietly comforting yourself when you are tired, and patiently moving forward through so much pressure. That is already an amazing effort worth appreciating. To close this podcast episode, I want to share a beautiful quote from the philosopher Albert Camus. In his most tiring, broken, and doubtful years, he found a bright truth to save his own soul. In the middle of the deepest winter, I finally realized that there was an invincible summer inside me. I believe that all of us will eventually have to go through our own freezing winters. Those are the days you feel lost, slow, and sad when you look at the shiny lives of others. But you know what? In the moments when you want to give up the most, the thing that lifts us up is sometimes not magic, nor the applause from the crowd. It is simply the moment you decide, I will not turn my back on myself. That invincible summer is actually not far away. It is the kindness, the patience, and the strong belief that you keep for yourself, even when life has not treated you gently. No matter how cold the storms out there are, as long as you still choose to be on your own side, that fire will never truly die out. If you want to hear more stories about growing up and finding inner peace, please check out the channel's playlist so we can continue this journey together. Thank you for staying until the very last seconds. I truly wish that no matter what winter of life you are facing, you will always find a summer warm enough inside you to bravely keep walking forward. See you in the next podcast episode.